Battle of the Books is special for me because people think of reading as a solitary, boring thing. And when I come here, in fact, I just posted on my Facebook page that imagine yourself going to a basketball game, screaming fans everywhere. That's what this is. This is just like, it's like competitive reading. For these kids to get this excited about reading some books and answering some questions gives me a thrill beyond all measure.
My name is Ashley Finkbeiner, and I'd like to welcome you to the Southfield Public Library's 33rd Battle of the Books Middle School Challenge. Today's program includes participation from 6 Southfield schools. There are 15 teams, 79 team members, and 15 volunteer managers and co-managers. Go ahead and give yourselves a hand. This program will be shown at a later date on Southfield Cable Television. Please feel free to take pictures or use video cameras. At this time, please turn off all cell phones or set them to silent or vibrate. Team members may not have cell phones at the tables. You may not have anything at the tables that we did not place there. The Battle of the Books Middle School Challenge has an added twist. In between rounds of questions, the teams will be asked to participate in short games. At the start of each round of games, the directions will be read one time, so it's important that you listen carefully. The outcome of the games will not affect the final standings of the Battle of the Books. This year, we are also introducing tiebreaker questions. In the event of a first-place tie, those teams will be asked up to 5 additional questions. If after 5 questions there is still no difference in score, the teams will be named co-champions. Teams, please remember, it is important that you remain quiet when the battle is taking place. Speak quietly during the entire 20-second period that you have to answer a question. When the buzzer sounds, you must put down your pens and hold your answer card high into the air for your runner to collect. Please do not fold your answer card. Managers, please take your seat if you have not done so already. Most of all, we wish you good luck and have a great time tonight.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll move this up a little bit. Oh, I forgot. The library has a board of trustees, and the president of our board of trustees is here tonight. They are volunteers that work to help us make sure that we are listening to our community and that we are doing the things that we should be doing to be a great library. And tonight, Miss Uni Rose is here, and I would like to let her talk for a minute.
Good evening, everybody. Hello. It's because he talked to me earlier. I just want to wish you an amazing evening, and on behalf of the library board and the friends of the library, who are the real people that are in charge of this, let's applaud them. And just enjoy yourselves. Make a ruckus when you do something good. I want to hear every bit of you, okay? Good luck. Have fun.
Thank you. If you filled out one of those little white slips of paper and we're not sure where to put it for the drawing tonight, that goes into this blue bag, and our president of our Friends of the Library, Yolanda Haynes, is here. She will have that bag with her. She's sitting over here, and we will be drawing before we leave this evening. Okay? All right. I have the honor of asking the questions. And I hope you're all ready. Our first question, I should tell you how this works. First, I will say from the book, and then I'll read the title of the book, then I'll read the question, and as soon as you start hearing and you think you know the answer, you can start to write. You will have 20 seconds from the time I finish the question to write down your answer. You can talk with each other, but please don't talk very loudly, because you don't want the table next to you to take your answer. And you have to put the name of the person who wrote the book, the author, and the name or the answer to the question, okay? All right. Okay, first question comes from the book, All Summer Long. I bet your sister took this job so she could yell at people all day, Bina said to Scott during the first week of summer vacation. Yeah, dude, he replied. Charlie yells at me, she yells at Mom, and now she's turned professional. What is Charlie's summer job? What is Charlie's summer job? Yeah, if you get the answer right, hold it up in the air, but we won't be coming by to pick them up until the buzzer sounds. All right, pencils down, pens, cards in the air. All Summer Long was written by Hope Larson, and Charlie is a lifeguard. Lifeguard. I should also say, if you didn't hear the question and you want me to read it again, wave your hand and I will do that, okay? I'll try and keep an eye out just in case. This question comes from the book, The Great Green Heist. Hashemi has built the cell phone from scratch. It contained an OmniTask 3000 multi-core processor, a tri-band Wi-Fi technology, 2 GPS chips, a 20 megapixel camera with zoom and flash, voice recognition software, Bluetooth, an accelerometer, a gyroscope, and a slide-out keyboard. What did Hashemi name his cell phone? What did he name his cell phone?
We will still get points if we okay.
Time's up. Cards in the air, pencils down. The Great Green Heist was written by author Varian Johnson, and the cell phone was the most awesome phone ever, otherwise known as a MAPE, M-A-P-E. Our next question comes from the book Clayton Bird Goes Underground. Hector Santos kept the beat tight on percussion with 2 buckets, a brass hi-hat, and a snare drum. And Clayton Bird on the Mississippi saxophone, or what Cool Papa Bird called the blues harp, drew in and blew out as much life as he could between the musical spaces the bluesmen left open for him. What is another name for the instrument that Clayton Bird plays? What's another name for that instrument? Time's up. Cards up, pencils down. Clayton Bird Goes Underground was written by author Rita Williams Garcia, and the instrument is called a harmonica. Woo. Okay, our next question comes from the book The Epic Fail of Arturo Zamora. Arturo dug through his clothes for a disguise that would make him unrecognizable to Wilfredo, something that made him look like a spy from a Bond film. But he didn't have a tuxedo, and the only pair of sunglasses he could find were his mom's bright orange one. What was the mask that Arturo wore for a disguise? What was the mask Arturo wore?
Let's get this right now.
Time's up. The Epic Fail of Arturo Zamora was written by author Pablo Cartaya, and the mask was the Incredible Hulk, the Hulk. Okay. Wow. This next one has a long title. From the book, Flying Lessons and Other Stories from the Story, How to Transform an Everyday Ordinary Hoop Court into a Place of Higher Learning and You at the Podium. Okay. Question. Put in enough hours, your game's going to blast off. Your jumper's now pure out to 25 feet, give or take. This past season, you scored more points than any other 8th grader in the country. You were second in assists. So what? It ain't good enough, and you know it. What gym in Balboa Park makes your ears perk up? What gym in Balboa Park makes your ears perk up? What gym in Balboa Park makes your ears perk up? What gym? Okay. All right, time's up. Pencils down. Flying Lessons and Other Stories from the Story, blah, blah, blah. Oh. Was written by it's edited by Ellen O. And the gym was the Muni Gym. Muni. Okay. Our last question for round 1 comes from the book, The Menagerie. The goose sighed and stretched her long neck. In a slow, drawly, quacky voice, she said, "Oh, another Yeti fur blanket is the only thing that could really make my happiness complete. But I'm sure it's too much to ask." The goose was the only source of income that the menagerie had. What was the valuable product that the goose gave? What valuable product did the goose give?
Her blood. Eggs. She's just like, it's a little bit.
The menagerie, time's up, pencils down, cards up in the air. The Menagerie was written by Twee Sutherland, and the only product that the goose gave was golden eggs. Golden eggs. Okay, and now here comes Miss Ashley to do our first game.
All right. Listen closely as I'm only going to read the directions one time. Each team will nominate one member to play this game. That person will move to the empty table with your team name on it. When time begins, the player will take the 2 popsicle sticks, and using only those 2 popsicle sticks, you need to stack all 3 die on top of the X marked in tape. So if you're the team player, go over to the tables now. So just one person. You can empty out your cup so you can get to the items. All right. Yep. So using only the popsicles, you have to stack the die. And time will begin now. All right, who's got it? Done. Okay, when you're finished, go back to your table. So nice job, Bookeyes, right? You guys are Bookeyes? Good work.
Okay. Let's start round 2. First question from round 2 comes from the book, The Epic Fail of Arturo Zamora. Arturo opened the envelope and pulled out the letter inside. It was handwritten in Spanish with English translations on the side. Every inch of the page was covered. One letter told the story of Abuelo meeting Abuela. What was Abuela carrying when they met? What was Abuela carrying when they met?
Basket of dirty laundry. That's too long. Sorry. We're gonna win. Dirty. Oh my God, you're right. Basket of dirty laundry. Wait, I just need to tell them. Wait, let me put the camera back.
Time's up. Cards in the air. The epic fail of Arturo Zamora was written by Pablo Cartaya, and Abuela was carrying several bags of laundry. Laundry. Oh. Our next question comes from the book All Summer Long. From the book All Summer Long. Milk and bread, you're the best. Glad I got that off my chest. Bina sang to herself as she was walking home from the store. At her front door, she realized, oh, crud, my key. Where did it go? Where did she lose her house key? Where did she lose her house key? Time's up. Cards in the air. All Summer Long was written by author Hope Larson, and she lost her house key on the slide. On the slide. Woo. If you get it right, you can cheer. We're happy. Yay! Oh. All right. Our next question comes from the book The Great Green Heist. Gaby returned to her room and picked up the puke green t-shirt. It was only then that she noticed the logo on the front. This wasn't even her shirt. What was the logo on the front of the only shirt left in Gaby's room? What was the logo on the front of the shirt? The Great Green Heist was written by author Varian Johnson, and the front of the shirt said, Skater Boys. Skater Boys. Aha, slow it down. Okay. Our next question comes from the book The Menagerie. Logan turned his gaze back to the griffin cubs as the reddish fur shifted and a long pointed snout swung toward them. Two bright black eyes glared up at them from below two gorgeous tufted ears. It was a fox. And then the fox started to grow, shifting from a small animal into a spitting mad human girl. Who was that fox? Who was the fox?
Where's Keiko? No, your dad's over there. Keiko was the only person.
Cards in the air, pencils down. I think this was my favorite book, The Menagerie. The Menagerie was written by author Tui Sutherland, and the fox was Keiko. Keiko. Or Kiko. I think it's Keiko. Yeah. Okay. Here comes that long, long title again. From the book, Flying Lessons and Other Stories from the Story, How to Transform an Everyday Ordinary Hoop Court into a Place of Higher Learning, and see you at the podium. No, that's not right. Yeah, note C. Flying lessons and other stories from the story, how to transform an everyday, ordinary hoop court into a place of higher learning, and you at the podium. There we go. Here's the question. When Dad parks along the street near his factory, how many hours will it be before the Muni gym opens? How many hours will it be before the gym opens? Time's up. Cards in the air. Pencils down. Flying Lessons and Other Stories was written by the editor Ellen O, and the time was 3 hours. 3 hours. Okay. This is our last question of round 2, then we'll get to do another game. From the book, Clayton Bird Goes Underground. Clayton washed up while Cool Papa threw a pot and a frying pan on the stove. In no time, the house smelled like spaghetti and fish sticks instead of the chewy and mushy 3 peas Clayton's mother had left them, pork chops, peas, and what was that last item? Pork chops, peas, and what was the last item? Time's up. Cards in the air. Clayton Bird Goes Underground was written by Rita Williams Garcia, and Clayton's mother had left them pork chops, peas, and potatoes. Potatoes was the answer.
All right. So it's time for our second game. Listen closely, as I'm only going to read the directions one time. Each team will nominate 2 players to play this game. Those persons will move to the empty table with your team. When the timer begins, player 1 will secretly look at the piece of paper that's taped to your table. So it's green or yellow. So you may not show your other team members what is on that paper. Player 2 will then recreate that design using the Lego blocks. Player 1 can use only verbal clues. You may not point to or gesture at any Lego pieces. The first team to finish and return to their seat wins. Please leave all other game materials at the table. All right, you guys can head on over. All right. On your mark. Get set, go. All right, please return to your seats. Did anybody finish it? Oh.
So nobody got that? Whoa, we might have to keep, oh, you did? We might have to do that again. Oh, this is the wrong one. Okay, gotta find, this is round 3. Our first question of round 3 comes from the book, All Summer Long. Bina wanted to start a band, so she made a flyer to hang up at school. The flyer said, anyone interested in joining a band should put a note in what number locker? What locker? You want to join the band?
What's the most common? 206. I like that. 206. It's 211. It's 211. It's 211. I'm gonna cry.
Time's up.
That's not fair.
Cards up in the air. Pencils on the table. All Summer Long was written by author Hope Larson, and the locker number was 302. Our next question comes from the book Flying Lessons and Other Stories from the Story, and this is from the story called The Difficult Path. Okay, so it's from the book Flying Lessons, and then there's a story in it called The Difficult Path. "Please don't send me back," the girl said. Tiani looked at her. The girl saw Tiani's eyes sparkling with inner fire. What did Tiani ask the girl to do in order to stay on the ship? What was she going to have to do to stay on the ship?
Show it to the camera. Show it to the camera. Show it to the camera. You have to wear a bottle.
Time's up. Cards in the air. The book was edited by Ellen O., and the girl was supposed to teach Tiani to read. Teach her to read. Okay. Our next question comes from the book The Epic Fail of Arturo Zamora. It was Abuela's favorite flower. There was a single one in the middle of all the other colorful flowers. Arturo didn't know if anyone else noticed, but he saw it. What was Abuela's favorite flower? What was her favorite flower? Pencils down, cards in the air. The Epic Fail of Arturo Zamora was written by Pablo Cartaya, and Abuela's favorite flower was a white rose. White rose. You know, no matter who wins tonight, you all, in our eyes, very much, we appreciate you being here. We appreciate you reading the books, and you're all winners to us. Reading is something that you're going to have to do in just about any job that you're going to have, any career in your future. So the more you read, the better off you'll be. And we say thank you from the library for coming and reading with us. This next question comes from the book The Great Green Heist. Bradley reached for his nose. "Really, I'm fine. I'll put some ice on it when I get home." Mrs. Goldman took him by the arm anyway, and Bradley allowed her to drag him to the nurse's office, repeating to himself that name of the copy room lock over and over again in his head so he wouldn't forget it. What was the name of that lock that he was trying to remember? What's the name of the lock? Time's up. Cards in the air. This is a hard one. I would not have known this. The Great Green Heist was written by Varian Johnson, and the lock that they were looking for was a Guten Babel 4200. Guten Babel, or Babel. Wow, that was tough. Our next question comes from the book Clayton Bird Goes Underground. "You gave away his guitars, and those were mine," Clayton shouted at his mother. You gave away his favorite guitar, and he named it after you. What did Cool Papa Bird name his guitar after Miss Bird's nickname? What did he name his guitar?
Hi.
It's Sasuke.
Sean, there's a huge trouble.
It's Teen Titans as well.
Wait.
Time's up. Cards in the air. Clayton Bird Goes Underground was written by Rita Williams Garcia, and Cool Papa Bird named his guitar Wah Wah Nita. Wah Wah Nita. Our last question from round 3. From the book, The Menagerie. Zoe said, I have something to tell you, but don't freak out. We know your mom. Logan didn't say anything. He put his head down in his hands. I didn't realize it at first. She has a different last name. By what name does Zoe and her family know Logan's mother? What is the name that Zoe and her family know as Logan's mother?
I just finished it yesterday. Yeah, I knew something with Abigail. I finished most of it yesterday.
Time's up. Cards in the air. The Menagerie was written by Tui Sutherland, and Logan's mother was Wawanita. Oh, wait, that was last question. Sorry. Gotcha. Abigail Hardy. Abigail Hardy was the name. And now we have another game.
All right, it's time for our third game. Listen closely, as I'm only going to read the directions one time. Each team will nominate one team member to play this game. That person will move to the game table, and using only one hand, the player will stack the blue cups, placing a piece of purple paper in between each cup. So you'll have cup, paper, etc. Please leave all game items at the table when you're finished. The first team to finish and return to your seat wins. All right. Y'all ready? On your mark, get set, go. Oh no! So it's got to be one single stack, guys, one single stack of cups. So not a pyramid.
Woo! I'm glad you guys are doing this, not me. That one was fun, though. Okay. The whole room got it? That's good. That's good. All right. We're ready for round 4. From the book Flying Lessons and Other Stories, from the story Secret Samantha. When the door clicked shut behind the principal, they let out a nervous group laugh, like bottles of pop that had been opened too fast. Excuse me. Miss Lee said, "We were just in the middle of playing Secret Santa. We're picking names out of a hat, and at some point this week, you'll deliver a gift." They picked out elf names for themselves. What name does the new girl pick? What name does the new girl pick? Cards up, pencils down. Flying Lessons and Other Stories was edited by Ellen O, and the new girl's name that she picked out was Blade. Blade. Okay. This next one has a word that I'll say it two different ways because I'm not sure which way you were thinking of it when you were reading it. So it's a short question, though. It's from the book The Menagerie. The Kraken, or you might say Kraken, but the Kraken is the way I'd say it. The Kraken ink targets only certain memories. Which memories are those? What memories does the Kraken ink target? Don't say things too loud. I heard somebody whisper the right answer. Time's up. Okay. Cards in the air. The Menagerie was written by Tui Sutherland, and the Kraken ink targets supernatural encounters. Supernatural encounters. Dun, dun, dun. Our next question comes from the book All Summer Long. I'm biking home from work when suddenly this jerk opens his car door into the bike lane. I swerve, but there's a pothole right there, and I totally bite it. Charlie said this, smacking the wall dramatically. So much for lifeguarding. Which arm bone was fractured in Charlie's bike accident? What arm bone did he break?
Was the left, I don't know it. Left ulna or something. Oh, what ulners? Say left. Say the left. Put left. That's stressful. Rotation works left. Oh man.
Time's up. Cards in the air. All Summer Long was written by Hope Larson, and the bone that he fractured was the ulna. Ulna. Woo! Ulna. U-L-N-A. Ulna. Okay. Our next question comes from the book Clayton Bird Goes Underground. While Mr. Miller talked, Mrs. Bird smiled. She remembered years ago when she treated herself to a ticket and had seat number 6 in the center section, row B, right next to seat number 7, his seat, Albert Miller's. Where did Ms. Bird and Mr. Miller have tickets next to each other? Where did they have tickets next to each other? Time's up. Cards in the air. Clayton Bird Goes Underground was written by Rita Williams Garcia, and they sat next to each other at the baseball stadium. Baseball stadium. Our next question comes from the book The Epic Fail of Arturo Zamora. For his entire life, La Conchina de la Isla has been closed on Sundays. Year after year, customers have begged Abuela to open the restaurant, but she never has. What did Abuela claim Sundays were for? What are Sundays for? Time's up. The epic fail of Arturo Zamora was written by Pablo Cartaya, and Sundays are for the Zamoras. Sundays are for the Zamoras. That's what they're for. This is our last question for round 4. Round 4. You've answered a lot of questions. This comes from the book, The Great Green Heist. Jackson glanced at the open padlock by his feet and said to Hashimi, Captain Kirk's birthday, right? What was the number combination to the padlock on Hashimi's shed door? What was the combination?
Oh, 18. 67. I don't know. I know. I just have to write.
Time's up. The Great Green Heist. You guys are too young to know who Captain Kirk is, right? Do you know who he is, I hope? Star Trek, yes. All right. The Great Green Heist was written by Varian Johnson, and the number on the padlock, or the combination to the padlock, was 3, 22, 33. 3, 22, 33. Whew. Okay. I have to know some things. Where are our teams from Bradford Academy? Bradford? Whew, they didn't make it. Okay. How about Thompson K-8? Where's our Thompson teams? Attaway. All right. How about University Middle School? Woo, back in the back. Okay. How about Anderson Middle School? Yay. Levy? Yeah. Levy's over by my house. MacArthur. Woo. You weren't even answering questions. Okay. All right, I think that's all of our schools. Did I miss anybody? Who? Oh, wait. Oh, the name is easy. I'm sorry. Beth Jacob? Is Beth Jacob in the house? Yeah. I had trouble with their name, and so that's why I stopped for a minute. But then I realized that's the name of the team, not the name of the school. Welcome, ladies. All right. Looks like, Miss Ashley is here. I'll get out of the way.
All right. Listen closely, as I'm only going to read the directions one time. Each team will nominate one member to play this game. That person will move to the empty table with your team name on it. Using only one hand, your goal is to remove the paper from between the stacked cups so that the cups fall directly into each other. So at the end, you should have just 3 cups stacked inside each other. The first team to finish and return to your seat wins. Wait, we haven't started yet. Please leave all game materials at the table when you're finished. All other team members must remain seated during the game. All right, on your mark, get set, go. Restack it. You can keep going. Restack it if it falls. So we have a winner and back. What's your team name? Levy Lever. Good job, guys.
Okay. How are we doing timings? All right, round 5. Oh, we're just going to do the Great Green Heist again. We were just there. From the book, The Great Green Heist. I have to do this right. I just interviewed Naomi. She told me Stuart Hogan dropped out of the election. Keith Sinclair is running for president. Charlie said to Jackson, what position was Naomi Sinclair running for in student council? What position was Naomi running for?
Secretary.
No, not making this. Not until April 10th.
Not until March 15th.
Time's up. Cards in the air. The Great Green Heist was written by author Varian Johnson, and Naomi was running for student council secretary. She was running for secretary. Okay. Our next question comes from the book The Menagerie. What does the acronym SNAPA stand for? SNAPA, S-N-A-P-A. What does that stand for? Time's up. The Menagerie was written by Tui Sutherland, and SNAPA stands for Supernatural Animal Protection Agency. Supernatural Animal Protection Agency. Okay. We only have 2 more questions left, and then you get another game, I think. Yeah. From the book All Summer Long. Let's just say that now I remember why we haven't played mini golf in so long, Bina's dad said as he handed Bina the score sheet. What was the mini golf score after Bina fixed it? What was the mini golf score after Bina fixed it?
What was the question? The answer was a cake. What was the question? Guys, wait, what was the question?
Time's up.
What was the golf score after?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I'm missing something. Here it is. The All Summer Long was written by author Hope Larson, and the score was a perfect kitty. Perfect kitty. Yeah, I've never heard of that. Okay. Now, after we finish our last question, stay in your seats because we'll do a game. After it'll take us a little bit of time after that to get all of the scores tabulated. And if there's a tie, then we have tiebreaker questions. So don't go anywhere. Coaches, parents, if you want to know what your team's score was and they're not in the top 3, we have these little cards up here, and on the back it has the phone number of the youth desk. We should know by Friday, so you should be able to call by Friday, okay? Okay, last question. Here we go. From the Menagerie. It would be pretty cool to ride a horse the 10 minutes to school instead of his bike. Logan coasted down a hill, steering around the potholes. He still missed the deep dish pizza smell that hung around his block in Chicago. The air in Logan's town smelled like pine trees and faraway snow. What is the name of the sleepy town that Logan and his dad moved to? What's the name of that town that they moved to? Lines up. Cards in the air, pencils down. The Menagerie was written by author Tui Sutherland, and the town that they moved to was called Xanadu. Xanadu.
All right, so while we are tabulating your scores, we're going to play our final game. Listen closely, as I'm only going to read the directions one time. Each team will nominate one team member to play this game. The player will move to the game table. Your goal is to build the tallest tower using all of the materials found on your table. Your tower must be able to stand on its own. All other team members must remain seated throughout the game. You can use both of your hands this time. All right, on your mark, get set, go. So remember, use everything on your table. Time's up. Oh no! Oh, good job, guys. All right. Yeah, you guys have done a wonderful job. All right. So there are so many people that make this battle program a success. I just want to mention a few of them. I wanted to thank our volunteer runners, the parents and guardians and media specialists, the teachers and librarians and reading clinicians. I also want to thank the managers and co-managers who take on the responsibility of leading teams. We want to thank the Friends of the Southfield Public Library for their ongoing support. And we also want to thank the other staff members of the Southfield Public Library, especially my fellow youth librarians. We could not do this program without you, so give yourselves a hand. We would also like to thank BookBeat Bookstore for coming to the kickoff and selling battle books. Colleen is a big supporter of the library and our programs, and we really appreciate her. Please check out the library newsletter. We have some here for upcoming programs for all ages. We have a fairy tale week coming up in April, and our big weather fest is in May. At this time, I'm going to announce your top 3 favorite books. Each year we ask the battle participants to vote on their favorite books. And this year, tied in 3rd place, we have The Epic Fail of Arturo Zamora and Clayton Bird Goes Underground. In 2nd place, we had another tie for The Great Green Heist, which was my favorite, and The Menagerie. And then this year, our 1st place book is All Summer Long by Hope Larson. This was the first year we did a graphic novel for a battle book, and I'm so glad that you guys enjoyed it. Each year, teams are invited to try and stump the librarians by submitting their own battle style questions. We have some very careful readers, and I am happy to congratulate Powerful Puffin. You guys stumped us, so come on up. And we hosted a drawing sponsored by our friends of the Southfield Public Library. And Anthony Abner, you're our lucky winner tonight, so come on up and collect your prize. Oh, wonderful! All right. And so this year, in the first time in quite a few years, there is not a tie. So in third place, I'd like to announce Mac Attack. Come on up. Congratulations. Yeah. Good job, Thompson. Oh, yes. Mac Attack is from Thompson, not MacArthur, which is stated in error in the program. So thank you.
If any of you parents, coaches, managers, teachers are interested, or students even, are interested in becoming a friend of the library, Yolanda, would you wave for a second? Yolanda Haynes is the president, and she'd be happy to give you some info. All right, that's enough sponsorship now.
All right. In second place are Doritos from Anderson Middle. Congratulations. And before I announce our first place winners, we want to thank our sponsors. Best Braces is our sponsor for the first time this year. And our first place teams will receive gift certificates to Airtime Trampoline. And so they are also a sponsor. So we want to thank those organizations. All right, and in first place is, guys, why do you do this to me? Baz Yakov Rocks from Beth Jacob. Please come up. Congratulations. Please come on up and collect your prize. So that concludes our battle program for this evening. Thank you all for participating, and congratulations. You have all done really wonderful work this year.
We hope to see you all next year.